This video will walk you through the linked list program using C++. What we have here is a class named link, which has two variables. One is an integer named data, and the other one is a link kind of a variable named next. So if you want to visualize it, we have a link which has a data and it has a field named next, which is of its own kind. So a link can link to a link, basically. So the only thing that we're going to be able to do with the constructor of this link is to just make a new link equal to certain data that the user will provide, and we're going to make its field next equal to no. So this is going to be the default link that I make every time I make one. The only thing that I will need to provide is to show you this links data, and that's it. That's all there is for this class link. Now, how we're going to create a linked list out of these links? Well, we're going to have a class named LinkedList in which we're going to have a link named first. So basically just think of one of these links here that we have, but this one is named first. Okay, so now that this link first is created, what are we going to do with it? Well, let's examine the code in our main so that we can see what happens. So in here we say linked list, the list, which uses our constructor. So as soon as we do this, we call the constructor, and we're saying that first is equal to no. So we're basically making a new link named first, and we're setting it equal to no. That's what happens. So what happens next in our main? We're going to insert first the value 22. So let's jump to insert first function method. Insert first takes the value of 22 and makes a new link using that 22. So we're going to make a new value of 22 in here, and that is basically what this line does. So we're making a new link. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to name it L1 in parentheses here so we can identify it. And this L1 is going to have the value of 22, which is what we sent from the main. So now that we made this new link using this line of code, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say p new link p next is equal to p first. Well, p new link next is this field here, and I'm telling it you're equal to first. And what is first equal to? No. So I'm basically telling it your next here for this new link in line 42 is equal to no. Okay, so that's what it is. Because this here was equal to no, then this is also equal to null since it's equal to the first. Now the next thing that I'm going to say is I'm going to say p first is equal to new link. So now the first no longer equals to no, but it is equal to my new link that I just created. So that is what we just did in this line of code at the end of inserting the first link. Now let's go back to the main and have a look how we insert another link using insert first. We're going to insert the value of 44. Let's have a look and insert first. So 44, and it goes into ID. And we're going to make a new link with a value of 44. So there it is. There's my new link with a value of 44. That's what we did with this line of code, line 41. Now the next line of code, 42, what we're going to do is we're going to say p new link next is equal to first. So the next here of this new link we just created, which I'm identifying as link 2, L2, is equal to first. What is first equal to? Well, first was equal to L1. So the new link that I'm just creating is equal to first. So new link next is equal to first, means that this next here is equal to L1, because that is what first is equal to. Okay, so that is what I just created. So as soon as I did this, I actually created a link between this link and the other one that I just inserted before it. So that's the link that I just created using line 42. Now the next line of code, p first is equal to p new link. What I'm actually doing is I'm getting the first and I'm making it equal to the new link that I just created. So that is how we inserted the link 2 in our linked list. Now let's have a look at how we are going to insert 66 using insert first. 66, insert first. So ID becomes 66. We're going to make a new link with a value of 66 for data. And we're going to say that p new link next is equal to first. So the new link, which is the third link that I'm making at this point, is its next field, or line 42 here, is equal to first. What is first equal to? It is equal to L2. Right? So now basically what I have done is I have created a link between this new link that I inserted and the previous link. Right? So this is what I did in line 42 in the code. Now the next line is p first is equal to new link. Right? P first is equal to new link. So now we're just going to move first and make it equal to the link that I inserted. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to do is show you how to remove first. So to remove first, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to create a link named temp, which is going to be equal to my first. So this is equal to temp. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to say first is equal to first next. So first, which is this, is equal to the first next, which is this. So in other words, I'm just telling it, first you move down to the next link. Okay? And then the next thing that I do is I have to delete temp, which basically is our C++ way of telling it, free up this memory space so that we can use it for anything else later. So this is how we delete first. Now let's examine how we're going to delete any error, any kind of a link. So how we're going to do this? This is using the remove. Okay, so how does the remove work? The remove works, we're going to need two links. We're going to need a current and we're going to need a previous. So the reason for this is we can't go back in our linked list. So this is going to be, if this is my current, this is going to be my previous. Okay, so let's see how this works. So let's say, suppose I am trying to delete link 66, right? Well, if I'm deleting link 66, then the current will be the 66 link, and then all I have to do is delete first, which is what I just showed you, right? So if my current is equal to the first is equal to the first next, right? So in other words, first moves one down. And then we're going to delete current, which is, we're just going to grab this thing here and we're going to remove it, and that's deleting it if we're deleting the first one. But if we're not deleting the first one, then the current, let's say, suppose the current is, we're trying to delete 44. So that means we're trying to delete key 44, and we're going to look for it. We're going to look for it while my current data is not equal to the key. So as soon as my current, the data of the current becomes equal to the data that I'm looking for, which is the key, then I'm going to stop this loop. And as soon as I stop this loop, we already saw what happens if I'm trying to delete the first. Now let's have a look at what happens if it is not the first. So if it is not the first, like in this particular case, we're going to say previous next, right? Previous next is this right here, is equal to the current next. Well, what is the current next? Current next is equal to this one. So in other words, I'm repointing this to point to the next link by telling it that this here L2 is going to be equal to L1, right? Previous next is equal to current next. That's what I just did. And then after that, I am going to delete current, similarly to how I did before. So this is the C++ way of telling it free up the space, and that is how we delete any link from a linked list. If you have any questions, please let me know.